Hello, my Zentangle friends. This is Barbara Langston, CZT. I'm a certified Zentangle teacher, and welcome to another session of Not Perfect Zen. This is the weekend for me, and it's a beautiful day in the Houston, Texas area, and I hope that you're having a great weekend. For today's video, I am continuing to show the 102 Tangles of Zentangle. And if you're new to this playlist, this is the poster that introduced me to Zentangle. It's from 2009, and it shows some of the original 102 Tangles of Zentangle. And I will be using a Zentangle 3.5-inch white tile, and probably a micron 01, a micron PN. I tend to kind of switch out here and there, and possibly a graphic 1. PN is a plastic nib, and the graphic one is a little bit more like a marker with a thick tip if you've got a big area that you want to fill in, which we might use on Cubine. I have a Zentangle graphite pencil and a tortillon, and I keep this clip in there just to keep it a little bit pushed out on the end because I'm kind of hard on those. And I usually keep my kneaded eraser close by. Okay, so the patterns that we're going to do today are Avreal, Cubine, Eek, and Meer. All right, I like to always start with gratitude, and I'm always grateful for Zentangle in my life. I am grateful to be able to share these patterns with you. I have really enjoyed going over this poster and finding the names of the patterns and practicing them again. Okay, we're going to start with our 4 corner dots, and then our border, which doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be exactly straight. And we're going to start, I think I'm going to go ahead and use my micron PN. And I'm just going to do kind of a slightly wavy line going across. And then I'm going to aura that. Okay. And the first one I'm going to do is Cubine. And Cubine is in a square grid. I'm going to start in the center and try to get these as square as possible. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. And then I'm going to turn it this way just because I do better at trying to guess this if my previous lines are to the left. Okay, and then this one is going behind the border. And then with Cubine, you've probably seen this one. It is used fairly often, and it's easy to do, easy to remember. I'm just going to go ahead and go diagonally across on each of these. Okay, and this one would be going kind of that way. This one will kind of meet over here. Okay, and then the next thing that we're going to do is at about the halfway point on this line, we're going to add a square. And then we're going to fill it in. And this is one of those patterns that really changes when you add your shading. Okay, and I'll try to not take too long on these. If you're new to my channel, I don't speed up my videos. You get to watch it in real time, and then you can decide with YouTube controls or to just fast forward. You can increase the speed, whatever works best for you. Increase it or decrease it. I also don't play music. I do have one video that obviously has music in it, and in the title of the video I said, please forgive the music, because it ended up being way too loud. And so after that, I have a little bit of music in my introduction and at the very end, and then that's it. So if you want music, you could put some music in the background and listen as you go through these videos. But I try to keep it quiet. I am watching my grandkids today. Hopefully there won't be any noise from that, but I want to get this done. Oop, that one didn't meet exactly on that line, but that's okay. We're not looking for perfection. We're just learning patterns so that you can add them to your tiles. Okay, and then this one. And we're not going to do any of the shading yet. We'll do that next. Okay, so the next pattern that I'm going to do is called Avreal, A-V-R-E-A-L. So we're going to start by adding an aura next to this. And then we're going to come out I guess that's about the width of the barrel of this pen, and we're going to do that. So we're going to do this wavy line several times, and then another one close to this. Okay. Oops, sorry. And then we're going to add some squares like we did up here, but these will be a little bit bigger, so they're not going to line up, and that's okay. Okay, I'll turn this to do this line and this one. Okay, and then I am going to switch to my Micron 01 since it's got a little bit of finer tip, and then we're going to put diagonal lines this way. Okay, and then we're going to go in the opposite direction. And this one simply has a lot of, I guess you could call it auras, a lot of straight lines, but it's a simple pattern. Makes a really nice ribbon or border. Okay, so what we're going to do next is bring just little auras across here on each one of these. Okay. Very simple. Okay. Touch it up a little bit there. Okay, now I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to do the same thing starting up here at the top of this square. They don't have to be a perfect distance apart. I try to keep them about the same, but if they're not, it's okay. And you can see these are a little bit curved. I'm following the shape of the line next to it. Okay. Okay, now we're going to do the bottom, and we're going to leave one of these little triangles white. Okay. This one is easy to work with, and if you just take your time, I find all of these to be relaxing, easy to remember. Okay, and now we're going to add some orbs in this outer area. Okay. I tend to start kind of in the center of the orb that I just put, and then bring it around. And I remember when I first started doing Zentangle, I was always looking for pages that would tell me the best way to do this. And I remember there was one that had you make just lines and lines of shapes like orbs. And I did a little bit of that. But what I did find for me was that I do better when I'm going counterclockwise. And so as you continue to practice, you'll find what works best for you. Again, this is very repetitive. And this was what I really liked when I first found Zentangle, was the whole reason that Maria got into the zone, into Zen, was because she was doing a lot of repetitive patterns for a client on a piece of art. And that's what I loved when I found Zentangle. Okay, those got kind of off, but it's okay. I'm trying to do this and talk at the same time, and sometimes that doesn't combine very well. Okay. Again, when this gets too repetitive, you can speed it up. If I'm going too fast, you can slow it down. Okay. And then if you want to, you can go back and fill in the little spaces between each of these orbs. Okay, I'm not going to worry about that right now. I might go back and do it after I complete the video. Sometimes I do a little touch-up. All right, we're going to add another double line here. And the pattern that I'm going to show you now is called Meer. Okay, and we're going to do it about the same width that we did here. Okay, about the same width as the barrel of my pen. Kind of following that same curve that we put there in the beginning. And we are going to put orbs in here, so keep that in mind with how far apart you make this. And let's go ahead and do that first. Kind of gives a neat, different border to Cubine to have these orbs on each side. So I have over half of the 102 tangles done. I don't know the exact number, but I'm really excited to get this, to get these patterns to you. A lot of these you may already know. There are some of these that aren't seen very often. And then there are some that are only available to CZTs as far as the step outs. But everything that you're seeing here, if you want to look at the step out, they are available through links at tanglepatterns.com. That's the site I use the most. Okay. See how these are a little bit smaller, these are a little bit bigger, so you decide what's most comfortable for you. Meer has this double edge with orbs in it, and so does Avreal, but Cubine does not. It just, because it got put between these two tangles, it looks kind of neat. Okay. Now the next thing that we do with Meer is a wavy line that goes down the middle. And you're going to leave room on each side. Don't touch the sides. Okay. And then the next thing we're going to do is bring lines down, kind of like what we did here, at a diagonal. So I'm going to start here, and then I'm just going to keep coming down this line at that diagonal. And now that I got this started, I can see how I need to go in this direction. So we'll just keep going until we get to the tip there. And then just keep coming down this way. Some will be longer than the others. I try to keep them about the same distance apart, but it doesn't matter. I have a bad habit, like right there, of not always making my line go all the way to the point that I want it to. But if I take my time, one line at a time, like we should, then it's okay. Okay, now we're going to just turn it a little bit, and we're going to come down this other side. And these lines don't have to match up exactly with those. We're just making a straight line between these. If you're following along, I encourage you to relax your shoulders. Take deep breaths. Don't worry about mistakes. There are no mistakes in Zentangle. And as they are going through the 20th anniversary celebration of Zentangle, that was one of the first things that they stressed, was no mistakes. And there's a blog post about no mistakes this month. All right, there you go. So, Avreal, Cubine, and Meer. Excuse me. And the next one I want to show you is Eek, and you may have seen that. And Eek is simply these loops that come down like this. Okay. You can go around however you want to do it. And then you come from the other way and come up into that. Okay. You can make these small or large. You can come back and fill in these little loops. Okay. And then you would come back down here and do the same thing. But what I want to show you real quick is, this is one that I did. I don't have a date on it. But I saw this on someone else's post and managed to do it in a circle. So I thought this came out really cool. I don't have a video for that, but I wanted to show it to you. Okay. So we're going to put Eek on this outside. And I'm going to start by putting these loops along here. Again, you can make them as large or small as you want. Keep in mind that you're going to have another one that comes up this way. So I'm trying to leave enough room for that. Okay. So from this direction, here's this loop. Just take your time. This may be one that you want to practice first. Okay, just keep going. And I'm going to go past my border a little bit, and that's okay. And now I'm just going to move over a little bit. and do the same thing again. You can use this as a ribbon, as a border. Okay. All right. I'm going to turn, do the same thing on this side. You could put different colors inside these loops. Okay. Now we're going to come from the other side. Okay. Just keep going. Okay, I'm going to stop here. Start my next ones. Okay, next row. All right. Now there's different things that you could do if you wanted to, like if you want, bring this around and just connect as a way to finish it off. This is not in the step outs, but this is just something that I thought you could do to make it look kind of finished. You can put little points here. Give it just a little bit of drama. You could fill in between here if you wanted to. I'm not going to connect these, let you decide which ones you like or don't like. But you could, like I said, come down here and fill these in. And that kind of gives you some more drama. If you're doing a colored tile, like I said, you could put color in each of these. I was doing every other one, and now I did that one. So let's go ahead and fill it in. No mistakes, right? I've had a few tiles where I made an oops. And when you continue as if you meant to do that, it can really come up with some really cool patterns. In fact, that's how some people discover or create new patterns, is by the mistakes that they made. Okay? So don't worry about it, just enjoy it. And possibly just highlight it. If you can't fix it, then feature it. Okay? And also, you know, as you're going through your tile, look at it and say, what if? What if I did this? What if I did that? And that's what I was doing with this. And you may find out you don't like it. Like with this part. If you don't like that, then don't do it. Okay? Now let's do some shading. Okay, let's start in the center with Cubine. And in this bottom, if you think of this as looking into sections of doors or something like that, then you have the dark at the very back, a little bit of a shadow on the floor, and then light on this side. Okay, now we're going to take our tortillon and just soften that. Little bitty circles, pushing it into the paper. And that smooths it out. And it really makes a difference in how Cubine looks. Okay, isn't that cool? I love how that changes. All right, with Meer, I'm just going to put graphite on one side. Okay. Just follow that curve and try to get your pencil to touch that line and don't leave blank spaces. That's just a shading tip. It looks better if there's no space there. And then I'm just going to pull it down in the direction that the lines are going, but I'm not going to go the whole way, just very softly. And just leave a little bit of white. Okay, kind of makes it look like a cliff that's going down. All right, on Avreal, I'm going to go ahead and put graphite against these orbs. And like I said, I have the pencil touching that line that I want to shade. Okay, I'm going to turn it and do the same thing. And then with your tortillon, I'm just going to soften that and kind of pull it toward the center, but not all the way in. And then I'm going to turn it and do the same thing on this side. There are different ways that you could shade it, but this is just one of the options. And then it kind of makes it look like the center is coming up a little bit. And then for Eek, I think what I'm going to do, and I haven't done this for is I'm going to put graphite. This is a what if. What if I put graphite in these spaces? So just come up a little bit. Till you get to your border. Let's turn this. And then let's soften it. See what we think. I mean, when you're making a tile and you've done a string, and if you randomly pick some patterns as you go through it, just think about, what if I did this or that? Kind of like it. Now, I did this because I had done it on here, and it looks really cool in that circle. Not sure about this, but it's okay. It's okay. And I think I'll do the same thing down here, just for a little bit of consistency. And as I've said in some of my other videos, if you don't like it, then you've learned what you do and don't want on your tiles. And I have learned that over many years of doing Zentangle. There are some patterns that I just don't like to do, and that's okay. But practice them. If it's a pretty pattern, try it, and then try again. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of give this an edge. And I think I'll do that all the way around. Just go ahead and put, whoop, sorry, a little bit of graphite along here. And then soften it. Okay, so we don't have a line for a border, but this helps to kind of bring it all together. All right. There we go. Again, that's Avreal, Cubine, Eek, and Meer. Done my way. And you feel free to do it your way after I teach you how to do these patterns, okay? This is your art. Just enjoy it. Just have fun with it. All right, so I'm going to put my chop over here. There are some pattern or tiles where I have forgot to leave room for my chop. And that's okay. All right, there we go. I hope you enjoyed that. Your tiles don't have to look perfect. My videos are not perfect. My tiles are not perfect, okay? If you look closely at Maria's tiles, they're not perfect. And that's one of the reasons I love watching the Zentangle videos and looking at her art in the Mosaic app. Well, hers and Rick and Molly and Martha and Julie. Nobody's perfect, so don't even try for it. Just love what you do. All right, and if you enjoyed this, please hit the like button and share, subscribe, and come back again. I appreciate you so much. Have a great weekend. Bye.